From here on, I want you to open yourself to receiving.
So say, wait, I don't deserve it yet. Okay, I need to work hard for that.
You get rid of the clutter in your home, in your life.
When we receive our experiences and how we can train it better and help us have better results in life.
Know that every cell in your body eavesdrops on your thoughts. What does that mean?
Instead of being afraid, instead of like turning it away, welcome it, because it's just like any other emotion.
You are powerful because of who you are and what you are, not because of who you are not.
You know how important you are. You know how important your life is.
Knowing that we are light.
You have a unique human design blueprint. You do. And it shows you your important role in the universe, what your soul purpose is, basically by showing you who you're not.
There's still one thing in our lives that we can control.
Simply make the intention. Connect your issues.
Faith is not believing that God can. It is knowing that God will. So my fear has also been replaced by expectant faith.
And then life will be better.
My mic is on mute. So, good evening, everyone. It's the last Wednesday of February. So, here we are again for our monthly check-in. So, I'm excited again kasi syempre, kailangan yan. Every month talaga, we check in with each other, with what's happening in our lives. Kasi kahit paano, parang with everything that's happening nowadays, sometimes it really gets, parang it's fast-paced and slow at the same time. Parang may ganong feeling, 'di ba? So, it's very important for us to be able to pause once a month and see where we are. So we can evaluate also like parang what worked this month? What didn't work this month for us? So, as usual, syempre, meron tayong partner in crime in our BDJ learning series on our monthly check-ins, Better Mind, Better You. And my partner, as usual, is from MindNation, Cat Trivino. So we can bring in Cat. Come on, Cat.
Hello, Dor.
Nawala. Hello, hello. I love the glasses.
Nagre-reflect nga siya na ano ako. But, well, ayan, para professional kasi may expert tayo today. So, I'm very excited.
Level up. Kailangan level up.
But I'm very excited for our topic today, and I'm also, it's also really nice to be doing these check-ins with you kasi pati ako napapa-reflect. It's not just the people that are watching us today, but also those that are joining us here in the live stream. Tayo, parang napapa-reflect rin tayo. We're always learning something new. So it's very exciting. My goodness, the last one we did was with Janina Chan. It was very nice also. It was talking about building healthier habits. And we talked about growth. We talked about our word for the year. So I hope na we're ending Feb already. It felt like yung kinatagal ng January, parang ang bilis-bilis ng February natin. And it feels like it just went by so fast. So if anything, we hope na you're still staying true to your word. Same with you, Dar. Kamusta na yung word of the year mo? Hello. Ayan, okay. Well, ako, yung word of the year ko was growth, and it was focus. My word of the year was focus, and I still feel that I'm staying true to that, and I hope kayo rin. If you can put on the comment section if you're staying true to your word of the year, or if you're joining us from somewhere else, let us know. I would love to see and do quick shout outs to where you're watching from and where you're from as well. For tonight, also, we're giving away MindNation merchandise. I showed you a bit of those last month. We're giving away cool MindNation tote bags, notepads to those that will be engaging with us and asking questions. So make sure that you register in the link that will be sent on the chat box. If that can be sent, we register so that we can get your details, so that when you ask questions, when you comment and share your insights, we'll make sure to send some goodies your way. This month, we'll be talking about building a healthy support system. And Dar is back. Hello, are you back? You're on mute, if ever.
The net today is so spotty, like my meetings.
Oh no.
Ayan. So I'm back, guys. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's all right. Yeah, so I was just going to ask. Our theme for the month is building healthy support systems. And we know and understand that it's very, very important to have healthy support systems so that we can take care of our mental health. Dar, who's your
Correct.
go-to support system? And how important is having one for your mental health?
Well, I have multiple talaga, to be honest. Like, of course, my husband, I have my friends at work, my barkada, my mommy barkada friends. I have also my barkada from high school that I'm still in touch with. So, ang daming circles, but usually it's just like around 1 to 2 people that I'm really close to in those circles. And then, of course, work. Meron yung I spend most of my days really at work. Eh. So, syempre, it's also important that you have someone in that environment that supports you, right?
Yeah.
And ano pa ba? I also have a life coach slash
Oh,
business
wow.
coach. So, it's like a weekly session that I have with him. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Coach Chris in case he's listening. Sometimes nakikinig siya sa mga FB lives natin. Mga
Galing.
checking in. Ano ba nagsasabi ni Dar sa lives?
Isusulat niya notes for the next session. Alam mo yung sinabi.
Yeah, actually.
Ginagawa ko ba talaga? And yeah, that's great to hear, and actually very interesting to hear na you have also a coach as part of your support system. Ako din,
Correct.
prior to this live, actually, I just got off my session with my psychiatrist. And it's so funny kasi usually, and the way that I've been thinking about it before, kasi I was dealing with depression before, and usually mas routine siya. And since I got busy, hindi ko na nasa-squeeze in yung session. So, nangyayari na lang, every time that there's something na crisis mode na ako, doon ako nag-reach out. So, I asked her to schedule with me, and I said, oh, can I get a schedule for today for 4 p.m.? Okay, game. And then she goes, oh, what do you need? How are you? Do you need medication? Ganun na siya. Parang crisis na kagad. Sabi mo, actually, wala namang problem now. Sabi ko lang, gusto ko lang mag-check-in. And then, she found it very, very interesting and good na I'm also checking in pa rin kahit na seemingly nothing's wrong. Kasi I don't want it to reach a point pa na rin na I have to just come to her when I need help. And I think that's the core of what having a healthy support system is, that it's not just about the bad times that they're there for you. Like, they're there to for maintenance then, to keep you accountable also when you're feeling good.
I agree. I completely agree. Kasi parang, I think, during the good times or during the times that you're a bit more or less emotional, that's the time you can actually make sound decisions. You make better decisions during that time. And during those times that you want to make better decisions, you would want to sound off your thoughts, your logics, your emotion on certain things in your life. Because maybe
Agree.
that's the time that you can move forward, right? Versus
Agree.
sometimes when you're in a low state, which we all do, that we all experience those low state, diba? Parang it's really like a cycle. So when you experience a low state, sometimes it's not the best time to make decisions, right? It's the best
Yeah.
time to likely pause, reflect, think about
Reflect.
the things that, yeah, talk to people, I guess, in a way, kasi yun nga kailangan mo minsan ng perspective, right? And that's the super super value that our experts, our professionals give us perspective that's also very different from our close family and friends.
Agree.
So ayan, should we bring in talking about our expert? Maybe it's time. We
Yes,
should
yes.
bring in our expert guys for tonight.
Yes, so research has shown that having a healthy and strong support system has many, many positive effects. And Sidar only shared a bit of why having an expert in is a good addition to a support system. But there are so many studies that show that when you have that community that supports your mental health, they can increase the higher level of your well-being, help you with your coping, and can really lead to a longer and healthier life. So it really excites us to dig deeper and learn more about developing that healthy support system. And if you don't have one yet, how to do that and how it can impact your well being with our guest today, psychiatrist and consultant, Dr. Dave Valderrama.
Welcome, Doc Dave. Come on in.
Hi
Yan.
guys,
Yeah.
good evening po.
Good evening.
Ayan. Hello, how are you doing today, Doc?
Okay lang din. I mean, weathering things out lang. And I just came from clinic, so hopefully I can still squeeze out some information for you guys.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
madami
it'll be
tayong
good.
makukuha from you, Doc. We're so excited to have you tonight and learn from you.
Thank
So,
you.
I think
Yes.
parang part of our topic talaga right now, as we shared a bit earlier, was really on the healthy support system, how it affects our mental health.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. We can, I think, more before we start with anything, because we keep talking about healthy support system. What does it exactly mean? What does that a healthy support system look like, and how does that affect our mental health?
A support system in general, without labeling siguro, using the label healthy muna. It's a network of people kasi no, that can range from anybody in your life, from friends, family, even acquaintances, no?
mm-mm,
You guys were saying a while ago, no? Even friends at work, no? Different circles of friends. And it could include, no, the mental health professionals if you are seeing one already. Okay. So, how does it feel like, no, to have a healthy support system? Um, it's not more of what it looks like, no? But it's more of what it feels like. A healthy support system kasi it's like a spider web. No? Maraming connections. It could be one small circle, several circles interlocking with each other. Okay. Pero what it should feel like, first and foremost, is that it's comfortable. Okay, now when you're with them, even talking over distances, through, um, I mean, Messenger, Viber, and so on, na it feels like home. Kahit let's say matagal kayo hindi nag-usap, no, it feels comfortable, it's secure, no, there's trust, understanding, and most importantly, siguro empathy. Okay, you could be yourself, no, without fearing judgment, and you're also secure enough to feel na kung ikaw naman nagkamali, no, they're really going to call you out on it. Okay? However, no, to be in a healthy support system, it doesn't mean one way lang siya. No, it also has to mean that you also provide the same, for those people na in that system. Okay, so that's what a healthy support system is supposed to look like and feel like.
I love that. I love that the parang the healthy support system nga parang it's essentially it's a feeling of being
Mm-mm.
supported, right?
Yeah.
And that I really love that. And then at the same time what you mentioned that it's a two-way. It's a two-way thing. It's not like parang we're just receiving on one end, but rather it's two ways. So during the pandemic, 'di ba, since kailangan nga natin parang sort of mag-give back, I mean mag-communicate back. Communication since we've been separated has been one of the
Uh-huh.
challenges in this pandemic, and sometimes it's so hard to reach out to people. Kasi parang siguro yun nga, for example, in terms of work, parang at work, you bump into each other going getting coffee and so on, going to the bathroom, tapos mapapansin mo, oh, do you need support? Or parang, oh, parang your teammates can feel that you're feeling upset. But right now, it's like parang we're all working via like online channels, right? Or
Mhm.
different platforms. And sometimes you don't see those things. So would you have any suggestions on how we can get the support we need in our different ecosystems?
Okay. So yeah, no, this pandemic has been hard. I mean, I felt it also. And even shifting my clinic from face to face to virtual, no, had its hurdles, so to say. Okay. Pero the thing is, no, we live in a very technologically advanced world. And us humans, one of our major traits is that we're adaptable. Okay. So
Correct.
I mean, for example, to tell you honestly, I held on for quite some time before I agreed to starting clinic virtually. Okay, pero when I started, no, I figured na, sige, this is still something that I can do. No, so if I can do that with my patients, no, then so much more with other people and their friends. Okay, I mean the world is so much smaller these days. I mean because of social media, technology. So it's something that we could use actually. So it's siguro a little less ang impact compared to seeing your friends, your family face to face, but
Mm-hmm.
still the connection is there. You get to see each other, you get to hear each other, you get to talk most importantly. Kasi one of the most important elements, no, of connection, of friendship, is communication. So however you can communicate, even if it's sige, texting, chatting, that's still communication. So I think that should do. Okay, so just make the most out of what we have.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I think
and just
that's
not stop.
Yeah, I think that's a good insight. And na parang I think also kasi 'di ba in the pandemic, a lot of the paradigms changed,
Mm,
and
yeah.
maybe our expectations on how we communicate with each other pre-pandemic is very different in terms of what is called for right now. But you're right, it can be just as simple as a text, a check-in. It doesn't
Mm-mm.
have to be the very long conversations over coffee, um like before. But I mean, I'm sure we all miss that, but parang it doesn't have to be that level all the time, or yun nga, we have to find ways. So I like that. And I guess I it's perfect. It's a perfect time to remind everyone that one of our support systems that's readily available for us in social media is Mind Nation, wherein you guys can reach out to them at it's 24/7, and you can email them at book@mindnation.com or at bit.ly/mn dash chat. I think it's there in the sticker below. So please feel free to book a session. Ayan.
Yeah. No, thanks for plugging that, Tar. And on the note of how difficult it could be now to get that connection. Sometimes even that simple text, if hindi ka naman ma-text, if you're not the type to really make use of digital means, like what you said, Doc Dave, it took you a while to get into teletherapy even. Just little in baby steps. You should be able to get the hang of it. Kasi whatever we do, this is kind of gonna be the new normal.
Normal,
And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
if you're not yet feeling comfortable of going out, where now the restrictions are now a little bit easier. But if it's not something that's not comfortable yet, you still have to reach out. You still have to
Yeah.
make do with what you have, because that connection is very, very important. Now, Doc Dave, I have something that's it's been in my head actually. We often think then that support systems
Mm-hmm.
are there, and it's usual that they're often family members, significant others, the
Yeah.
ones that are within our
Mm-mm.
space, right?
Mm-mm.
But how do we, when we talk about comfort, meron
Uh-huh.
diyang dalawang things about comfort. Sometimes it's comfort even if it's bad for us. And right? And you feel na parang, this is, okay, either nakasanayan ko na parang I'm comfortable here, because a lot of people don't want to make change, right?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
I would rather just stay here even though it's not so good for me. And there are sometimes comfort na parang this makes me feel good, but it's ikaw yung toxic, or it's really bad coping mechanisms. And again, we do have to make that change. But because of that, of how our brain is tricking us into just sticking with something that feels safe, which means sticking to status quo, how do we properly discern if they're actually healthy for us?
Okay, yan ang medyo mahirap na question, no? I mean, like for example, I think one example I can give, no, like I told you a while ago, nahirapan ako to shift from face-to-face consults to virtual. Ngayon, now that things are opening up, no, and I'm on the verge of deciding whether or not to open my clinic, nahihirapan na ako kasi nasanay na ako for the past 2 years of seeing people over Zoom or Viber. No. So, I think you have to look, to see forward kung saan, where you would find growth. I think ang best description there.
That's nice.
Okay. Na if kasi complacent ka lang, let's say, you choose this path, it's comfortable, yun nga lang, it's complacent, you're not going anywhere, no? Then, ang cliche man pakinggan, pero the world might leave you behind.
That's true. That's true. But and there will also be, it's not just also about complacency siguro, like if it's really harmful for you din, diba? And you know at the back of your head that you have to make change, then that comfort is doing you more harm than good.
Yeah.
So even if and correct me if I'm wrong, even if they're close friends, close family, significant others, if you feel that this is not contributing, I love how you mentioned, like, is it contributing to my growth? Is it making me a better person?
Agree.
Diba? Then
Yeah.
that's a good gauge to see if this
Yes.
person is right for you. And it doesn't matter if it's blood or it's someone by parang by being able to have that discernment is very important.
So one of the elements of a healthy support system, is that support system is supposed to give you a sense of purpose. No, that's one of them. No, so if it doesn't, then maybe you need to think twice already about something.
Yeah. I think I like the words growth, purpose, and I think what I was gathering from Kat is if it becomes disempowering, like you're in that support system and that you feel very disempowered. Like I know sometimes, 'di ba? Parang when yun yung minsan nangyayari sa mga families, 'di ba? When you feel that you're judged too much, and that's why actually some people or us, diba? Parang we withdraw also from our family members because we feel like we're judged all the time. So, pag ganun, minsan you really have to distance yourself, or I guess create emotional barriers or boundaries so that you will be able to um protect yourself. But I really love the word of Doc David, regarding growth. Kasi baka naman minsan may point, 'di ba? Kasi minsan constructive feedback, 'di ba? Constructive feedback is healthy, eh. Na parang, okay, oh yeah, I need to like review or think about like if this is valid or not valid, right? If the concern, what is the underlying intention sa words na ginamit. Siyempre, minsan emotional yung mga tao, but hopefully hindi naman as often, but generally, we need to be able to also filter those constructive stuff so that we actually work towards our growth as well. So parang right now with the pandemic nga, parang um w- parang is it more difficult, Doc Dave, in terms of cultivating genuine relationships, like the people you just met? Kasi parang it's hard to also not meet new people at all, eh, 'di ba? Since
Oh,
we're all so connected. So if you make an effort to put yourself out there, you will meet new people, right?
yes.
You get to meet people from working online. How do we create that genuine relationships to be
Yeah.
able to create that support system?
Yeah,
It's
actually,
hard.
parang I think
Yeah.
it's connected then to our
Mhm.
original question. Na parang, what if we find out and see na hindi pala healthy tong support system ko? I'm gonna go and find new ones during this pandemic. Ayun,
Correct.
paano yung, is that, how do we find that during this time?
Okay, so it's harder nga, no? Especially if you just knew somebody virtually initially. So I think ang first and foremost dito is that those connections that we had already pre-pandemic, no, hold on to them. No? Keep in touch, cultivate them even more, strengthen bonds. Pero if you do meet somebody else, I mean, I'm guessing, social media or mga applications that people use, no, to meet new people, no, I think they have been rampantly used for the past 2 years as well. Okay, and then you're bound to meet somebody there, whether an acquaintance, a friend, or even more. Yun nga lang, so in this period wherein you get to talk to them, no, virtually lang, through chat, calls, or video calls, I think the trick here lang is to put in more effort, to get to know the person a little bit more. And since we're out of this pandemic, or hopefully on our way out of this pandemic, okay, maybe then you can take further steps to cultivate things a little further siguro. Now that you can maybe meet already face to face. Of course, may social distancing lang.
Mm-mm.
Okay, pero I think it's effort, to keep communicating, keep talking, okay, and not just get tired of it.
I I like that. Parang it's really increased emotional involvement.
Mm-mm.
Na parang what you get is dependent on what you give. So parang if you don't give a lot, like you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable, you don't make the effort to connect, and then later on you question why do you feel so disconnected, then 'di ba, who was responsible for that to begin with, right? Very interesting.
Yeah.
How about
There's a
you,
nice
Kat?
question.
Sorry, go ahead, let's
Yeah,
proceed.
yeah. I actually want to ask this question also. Kasi we were talking about families and significant others, and it can be so easy to say. It's easier said than done to kind of pull yourself out of there and just not go and engage with that toxic support with quote unquote. But if your question here is from Angel, she asks, if one is still financially dependent to a toxic system, how does one handle surviving in that environment, or at least until we're still working on being independent?
Okay, that's a good question, no? Kasi I have actually several patients with that problem, and ang I've guided them, pero sila ang nakahanap ng answers nila out of it. I mean, one of them is parents ang problem, no? So that person started living initially with a sibling. Yun nga lang, since reachable pa rin siya with the parents, so that person started living with friends. No? So this is a good example, no, in where a healthy support system is in play. Okay? Kasi one of the things, diba, when you're in a good support system, no, is that you feel comfortable, you feel that you can trust somebody. No? Ang sabi ko sa patients ko lagi na, alam mo kapag okay ang support system na yan or that friend of yours is if walang-wala ka na, you have nothing else in the world, that person will pick you up without any questions. Okay? So it doesn't have to be family. No, it doesn't have to be family. No, if your friends are very much willing to take you in, no, then take that opportunity. Anyway, pwede naman sabihin na it's not going to be forever. No, and like as the question said kanina, siguro that person is still working on his or her independence. No, and then finally later on, siguro when you have enough to stand on your own, then thank your friend and then try to stand on your own. But also be secured with the knowledge that if ever you do fall, somebody's going to catch you. Somebody from that support system is going to catch you.
Nice, nice. Very important to be intentional with the support system that we can get.
Yeah. And I'm sure naman the support system then, whether it's your friend, an aunt, or someone else from within the family as well, understands naman where you're coming from, diba? Yan, Angel says thank you. And it's really, really comforting to think and really pushes the importance of healthy support systems when we know that someone will be there for us. Kasi a lot of times, yung mga mental health issues natin, mental health concerns, is we think, and we get into this parang these blinders, and we think that we're the only ones that understand, nobody else understands, and nobody else is there for us. Whether that's anxiety, depression, whatever it is, we just think that it's just solo to us, which was why a lot of people resort to not so healthy coping, or maybe even completely ending it, because they just think that there's nobody else there to support them. So it's very important to really voice that out. And if you are a support system for someone, if you are supporting someone, communicate that as well. Diba? Now, I have a question, Doc Dave. Now, when we're talking about having healthy support systems, or support system, what a big part of what makes them so healthy is when we're also able to set boundaries. Oh,
okay.
Ooh,
Sakto sa question ni KP.
KP, you and I, we're connected. Yes. How do you start discussing about setting boundaries with your support system? Kasi syempre, you said kanina, no matter what, kaya na to say yes. Pero we have to also set boundaries. That's what makes it healthy. Or else, toxic na yan pag palagi kang dependent sa kanya. Diba?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Tell us more.
Okay. So, ang boundaries naman, how to set a boundary, no? Ang boundaries natin, they are, walls. There are walls, no, that defend our limits. Okay? Think about our minds. Our minds kasi have their own form of energy. No, I think, kung tama ang alala ko, my mentor used to call it psychic energy. Okay? Each time we do something, especially if it's something stressful, it drains us to a certain extent. No? The more we are stressed, the more we don't like something that we're doing, no, the more na nade-drain tayo. And that includes even interacting with people. Okay? So ang boundaries natin, they protect that. Okay? They protect us from zeroing out, no, ang capacity natin to do things, to fight off stress.
Yeah.
Okay? So in creating your boundaries, you have to look at your capacities, no? You have to look at your limits. Okay, what you can do, what you can't do. So I think one word that could describe it, is you have to assert, whatever you need also. So if, for example, you're talking to somebody about setting boundaries, this is something actually na very much hindi masyadong nangyayari in our culture. No?
Yes.
Especially among family members, among
Yes.
significant others.
Mahiyain eh. And
Hindi siya
then
pinag-uusapan.
value of
Oo.
respect. Yeah.
Yes, oo. Pero importante siya eh. No, I mean, it might take away the romanticism, especially if it's a significant other. No, pero all cards have to be on the table without emotions in play. No, na for example, sabihin mo na sa ganitong aspect ng relationship natin, hanggang dito lang kaya ko. Okay? Or for example, no, let's say boundaries naman among friends. Okay? Let's say, for example, kailangan kailangan ng friend mo na kausapin ka about a problem. And ikaw, you're not feeling that well. Okay? You're also under the weather, fighting off stress from work or something else. No? Then to create your boundary, you tell your friend na, I understand that you are having a hard time, but at this point, I'm also not in a good place. So if you could wait, could you wait for me, let's say tomorrow, or give me at least an hour or two for me to get things straight, and then I'll listen to you.
Yes. I love
Okay.
that. Gusto ko yan. Yeah, I think that's very important that we learn how to assert for ourselves, because I think one of the challenges is that sometimes we expect other people to already know what we need, or to know when they're crossing the boundaries. But the truth is, parang lahat naman tayo iba-iba yung boundaries natin eh.
Yes.
'Di ba? Because we're all very different from each other. So it's not fair to like assume that someone crossed your boundary and parang magagalit ka sa kanila, for example. Pero in the first place, they might not really know that they crossed the boundary. So if you want to invest in that relationship, syempre you don't do that for everyone, di ba? So pero if that's a relationship that's important to you, it's important that you assert yourself so you don't feel bad, and you don't put too much expectations with on others to in a way read your mind regarding your boundaries.
Ang ganda ng communication, the level of communication. And that's why ang hirap rin sabihin, I'll always be there for you. Lagyan mo ng caveat, parang, I'll always be there for you 9 to 5 weekday.
I remember high school growing up na may yung telebabad na sabi ko, grabe, yung naabutan niyo ba yun? Yung telebabad years.
Yeah naman.
Like, baka hindi na. Yung, di ba, parang you just stay on the phone for long periods of time, even if you spend time at school with your friends, and then pagdating sa bahay, after dinner, you still talk to your friends, and maybe sometimes we're crossing boundaries na hindi natin napapansin that, ayun.
Yeah, there are some instances then that with regards to our boundaries and other people's boundaries where it makes it difficult for them to open up. And I think before I get to Jack's question, KP has a follow-up lang on that. What if they don't want to communicate? If that's something to do with their past experiences, why they're having a hard time opening up about their boundaries? Yun, she's not really sure if they're connected, pero baka lang there's something there.
Okay, well, that happens talaga, no? I mean, I encounter that with some of my patients on almost a regular basis naman. Okay, kasi there are people naman who have issues of their own, no? So they're not willing to open up kasi feeling nila if they open up, they might be revealing too much, or baka they might be passing on the burden to you. Okay? That is exactly why communication is important. Pero if your friend is not ready to communicate or is hesitating, sige lang, don't force it. Part of communicating within a relationship, especially within support systems, is the trait of empathy. Na you listen, no judgment, you don't make any assumptions. Okay? So it's just mostly support. Na for example, na I understand that you don't want to talk yet, but if you do, I'm here. No judgments. If you don't want me to ask any questions, I won't ask any questions. I will just listen.
Mm-mm.
Okay? Pwede din yan. No?
Mm.
Pero kasi, if medyo patuloy na, dyan mahirap. No? Kasi there will, ma-feel mo yan eh, there will be like a wall, no? Separating the both of you together. Okay? The most you can do there na is assurance lang. No? And the offer of support, of course.
Correct.
Absolutely.
It's really about parang just creating a safe space for each
Mm-mm.
other. So
Yes.
with no pressure, especially if it's friendship or family, 'di ba? Parang that's really parang in a way the ano lang, we just hold space for each other. 'Di ba? So which is of course different also when it's working, 'di ba? So like different circumstances kasi I think a lot of our community members are the working people and juggling multiple roles, right? So and sometimes yun nga part of creating your support system, it's having in your family, personal, your friends, and then also having at work. It can't just be just on for me, at least I don't know about you guys, na parang I feel like it needs to be scattered also, kahit isa lang. Kahit isa lang, hindi naman
No,
kailangang madami.
actually very important yun eh. Kasi parang you don't, and I'm saying this as an introvert na parang I feel like I should only have three groups, three friends. Pero parang, I see how important it is to kind of also have different support systems in the different aspects of who I am. Because I am many things. I am a daughter.
Correct.
I am an entrepreneur. I am a volunteer. And iba-iba rin yung levels of understanding. Like, for example, someone at work may not necessarily understand the full picture with the stuff at home. So maybe
Yes,
my
correct.
sister or someone can help me with that. Those are big reasons of why it's important to have different friends for different things. And it doesn't necessarily mean you dump everything on one best friend and that's it.
Yeah.
Medyo mabigat naman
Kawawa
yun
din
sa
ba? Kawawa naman si best friend. Kawawa si
exactly.
best
That's
friend.
what psychologists and the psychiatrists like Doc Dave are for. Parang, sige, share with us what you need. Diba? Pero it's really great to have different support systems for different aspects of who you are. And it really helps. And it eases off the pressure of someone. So maybe KP, if that person feels like they could relate or talk to or open up more with someone else, we have to be open and be able to link them to that also. Like, for example, if, sige, I know you don't want to talk to me, but maybe you want to talk to an expert para walang bias. Kasi a lot of things is we fear, even na sinasabi natin, no judgment, parang I'm afraid to open up kasi baka iba yung tingin mo sa akin. So, connect them with the experts, connect them with people that are equipped to help as well, can be good. There's one question on, there's so much questions and we love
Ang
it.
dami,
Yes.
yes.
I think nasabi kasi may giveaway. But thanks for sending in your questions. Dara, you want to read this one?
So ito, sabi ni Jacqueline that any tips on how introverts can build a support system at work? So maybe Kat and then Doc Dave, maybe you guys can share kasi si Kat or resident introvert. Ako sasagot ng isa, yung ambivert. Ambivert, yung gitna.
Ambivert, alam mo, I have a theory about ambiverts. It's just extroverts wanting to say they're introvert. Joke lang.
Hindi, yung sa test, ako talaga 1 and -1. Said 2 different times I tested. So I go, okay, sige, gitna na ako.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
game.
Just kidding to all the ambiverts out there. But for your question, Jack, how can introverts build a support system at work? You don't have to, like, honestly, with introverts, hindi naman sila, well, for me also, it's not naman that I really just want to completely be on my own. Sometimes we also feed off the energy of other people in a way na parang I need someone to reach out to me. And it's a challenge for introverts, but at least finding at least one person na mababody mo, to have that one person you can trust and talk to anytime and maybe even connect you. Hopefully, this other person is an extrovert para hindi kayo nagsusulo lang. Connect you with others and help you build that community is very important. Kasi, that's it's very difficult for me also to reach out to new people, to new friends, and I usually just get the help of an extrovert. Introduce mo naman ako, and then siya na yung bahala mag-connect sa akin kung
Set up,
kani-kanino.
yeah.
Set up. Mag-set
Set
up sa akin
up.
kung kani-kanino. Exact, pero
Yeah.
totoo. It's true. Kasi ang nangyayari is ako, okay, sige, I'll introduce you to my friends. And then, from there, you can figure out also, parang, okay, this is the group of friends or this is the community at work that I like. Maybe I can also venture into others. You don't have to always just stick to one. Parang if you feel, again, if you feel it's not the support system for you, if you don't feel it's contributing to your growth, whether you're introvert and extrovert, it's completely healthy to kind of to step out of that. But Doc Dave, maybe you can add more.
Well, as far as I can remember from what I was taught now, the only difference naman between an introvert and extrovert is where you recharge, how you recharge. No? Kasi even an introvert, it doesn't necessarily mean na we shy away from connections. Actually, we do crave.
Correct.
I'm introvert pala din ha. So, like for example, ako, I do crave, no, talking to somebody at times. May times nga lang when I'm stressed, that I really retreat into my cave para lang mag-recharge. No? So, at work, siguro, adding lang to what Kat mentioned a while ago, no, you can allow things also to happen. Kasi by hook or by crook, you will need to connect with somebody there. Whether it's because of a responsibility, a task, no, or just out of the blue, nag-meeting kayong dalawa lang na una, let's say, in the realm of, of pandemic pa, nag-Zoom kayo. Nauna kayong dalawa. No? Let's say, extrovert yung isa, kinausap ka. Okay, that's the start of a relationship right there.
Correct.
Okay? So, just, sige, allow it to happen, and eventually, yun nga, it will spread. No, whether you would ask that extrovert to introduce you to others or not, no?
Yeah.
Inadvertently, kakalat talaga yan kasi us as human beings, we need connections.
Yeah. I like what you said. Na parang I feel my takeaway from what you shared is that connections are really intentional. So being parang during this pandemic, parang whether it's work, for family, friends, in all these aspects, it's really needed that we need to be intentional about connections. Otherwise, it's so easy to feel so disconnected at this time. Kasi, so regardless, introverts, extroverts, ambiverts, represent. Kaya ano lang, very intentional. And I think the important effort also there when you're being intentional with your connection is you need to be authentic in that connection. Right? Na parang hindi ka nagfe-fake, hindi ka nagpa-plastic, you're really just like sincerely I guess being curious with the people around you or the people that you're talking to. So maybe that would help. And again, hindi naman ibig sabihin nga 10 hours kayo mag-uusap. A few minutes lang.
Agree. Meron isang, I guess we can entertain this question on introvert and extrovert, just as a follow-up lang from Agnes Dula. Is it possible that an extrovert person can be an introvert because of trauma or abuse or anything else? Pwede ba mag-interchange na, dati extrovert ako, introvert na ako?
Okay. As far also, no, as I remember from what I was taught, no, if, I don't know, malamang sikat na ang website ito, the 16 personalities na test. No? If you've seen that test, no, there are some sites that will put you on a gauge, whether an introvert or extrovert. Okay? Pero one thing one of my mentors taught me before is that hindi ka nag-jump from one to the other. No, you can go all the way to the midline, no, pero you don't cross to the other side. Okay? That's one thing. Kasi the way you do gain back your energy, no, will always be the same, whether it's with somebody, no, or with a lot of people, or alone. Okay, so in the realm naman kasi of a traumatic experience, it's different because what forces you no into that corner na, let's say, what a lot of people might think na naging introvert na sila is actually the fear. It depends on what the traumatic incident is. Okay? Kasi part of trauma is that you will really avoid anything that would remind you about that incident. Okay? Whether it's at home, outside, and so on. No? And for those siguro na with medyo malala yung trauma, and let's say may comorbid na depression already, they are those who might really withdraw from everything. Okay? So if, for example, you have a friend na alam mong extrovert, no, na kaya makipag-interact the whole day without feeling down or feeling tired. Tapos all of a sudden, may nangyari and then nagbago na sila. Please be mindful of that friend of yours kasi that friend might need you as a support. Okay, so
that's a very good insight. That's a very good insight, and I think like for you to go to that extremes nga, it really is a signal that this person really might need help because
Yeah.
it is
And I would
really
suggest professionally as well. So book at MindNation below.
or Doc Dave. No? Kasi madaming,
Doc Dave.
may mga fans si Doc Dave dito eh. Si Michael Peralta says, thank you, Doctor. One of the best. Oh.
Yeah.
Ayan.
Yeah, kasi I think ano talaga, sometimes like trauma, we don't know how much it affects us. Parang how it goes into our subconscious, our psyche, and sometimes we don't know na parang a lot of times how much it's directing our actions, that yun nga, it's driven by fear,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we have a sort of related question here also from EJ na siguro he's feeling that one of his friends or the people he cares about also have traumatic experience. So naging strategy niya siguro for people who want to you to open up past experience, then you open up. So siya pala yung may past experience. Then they don't want to suddenly. So siguro he feels a bit jilted na parang kala ko ba gusto mo ko pakinggan and then suddenly yung nag-share ako, hindi mo na talaga, parang hindi ko na feel na nakinig ka sa akin. Is feeling bad about it okay? Or is there some disrespect related to it?
That is medyo a complicated question. It depends on the situation. It also depends on ang level of comfort mo siguro with that friend of yours. Kasi there are others that I know of na, for example, you do open up, you pour your heart out kasi let's say you trust them. And then suddenly they raise this wall. No? A lot of the times that I've heard about this, it's because of the fact that they don't, number one, they don't understand. Okay? Number two, it reminds them of something in their lives as well. So may ano rin parang may, I don't want to use the term trigger sana pero may nag-reflect siguro na they don't want to face yet at that point in time. Or number three, ang isa sa mga common na reasons is that they're afraid. They don't know what to say. Okay? So it's hard nga, when, especially if somebody's not aware of how to help or support or react to friends who have had difficulties in situations. No, kaya sa mga previous seminars and webinars that I conducted, ang lagi ko sinasabi, if you don't know what to say, then just listen. Just tell them na I'm not the best person to give you advice. I'm just here to listen, but if you want, I might be able to help you connect to a professional siguro. Okay? So if you don't know what to say and you're in doubt kung tama ang sasabihin mo, don't say anything na. Okay? Support lang and then pass on to a professional. Kasi ang tendency natin, if ever we do try to help pero hindi natin alam, baka you'll fall pa into the dangerous pit of toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Okay,
na saying na okay lang.
Face lang yan, kaya mo yan, mawawala din yan. Whereas, sige, you're coming from a good place siguro, na you're worried, you want to help, no? Pero to the person experiencing the hardship, that might already come across as invalidation. Na parang wala lang pinagdadaanan mo. Yeah. Okay? So, that's why be careful lang whenever you talk to somebody who needs help.
I guess the opposite side of the spectrum is the question of Jacqueline na what if someone wants or expects me to provide support for them? I think medyo may sinabi mo to kanina earlier Doc Dave. But I'm not in the right headspace emotionally or ready. Diba? How do I tell them without sounding like I don't care?
Okay, no, so you start initially by saying your support. No, yun lang ang this is already a recipe namin when you say kapag as a support na I understand na nahihirapan ka. I might not be able to understand it in your shoes, pero alam ko nahihirapan ka. Okay? And
Parang
then acknowledge, and then doon ka papasok sa boundaries. No, you have to put up your boundaries calmly, respectfully, na you explain, na I'm not in the right headspace at the moment, and if ever I force this, I might be telling you the wrong things pa, and it might make things worse. Okay? So if you want me to listen, or if you need my advice, maybe you could wait, siguro until I'm feeling better. Or if you want, I can help you look for somebody who might be able to help you professionally.
That's really good. That's really good. And just try don't force it if you feel like you're not in the headspace. Kasi again, you can't fill from an empty cup. And if diba, you have to be able to also, it's not selfish naman to think of yourself. Kasi realistically, how can you give the best kind of support or the best kind of advice if you're not in the headspace? Kung negative yung feelings mo right now and he's asking for help, asking for motivation, baka ang masabi po mo naman, imbes na toxic positivity, negative din ang masabi. Parang,
extreme,
extremes.
Kasi extreme, yeah.
In addition to
sometimes
that,
it's sensitive, yeah.
I mean, in addition to that na lang din siguro, you also prepare. That friend of yours might take it the wrong way, might lash out, might sulk. Okay?
Yeah.
Understanding na lang. Kasi if ever they do that, it's not directly against you. Kasi part of their frustration there is actually against themselves.
Yeah.
Okay?
Agree. I love what you said kanina na parang if you're not in the space now, you can parang there's a way naman for you to not completely cut them off. You can say like, can we connect on Monday? Can we, diba? Parang making sure that there's something that they can reach out for na it doesn't feel na parang bye,
iniwan mo.
Well, hindi siya rejection. It's just that parang you're also being honest with where you are. And parang I guess parang I think honesty talaga with what we said about authenticity is very important in terms of communicating that for that connection to be really meaningful. So, medyo nauubusan tayo ng time. So, I'll entertain last two questions and we have to wrap up a bit. So, there's this question from Echo. What if someone leaves the org or company and then told other people that you are the reason that they left? How do you handle things like that? I think it's medyo sensitive din yan, diba? Syempre, you'd feel affected because your reputation was in a way attacked.
Or akala mo support system ka pala sa mga tao, yun pala yung reason why they're leaving. Medyo masakit yun.
Correct, masakit.
I guess it depends muna. Well, first and foremost.
Nahirapan natin si Doc Dave, guys.
It's okay. I mean, I need to see these na mga problems naman kasi I need to face it naman from time to time. Sa question na yan, it will, I think, depend on the validity of the claim. Kung ano talaga nangyari. Kasi if it's a far-fetched na assumption or judgment, na, I don't know, out of spite or, I don't know, jealousy or something, okay, then that's something that you could sweep under the rug. Ang importante dito, as long as ikaw mismo, you know that you did nothing wrong.
Correct, correct.
Okay? So,
I love
consolidate mo ang foundation mo muna.
correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
Malamang, people in the company would also know the truth. Kung
Mm.
may validity doon o hindi. So, ang lalabasin naman mamaya, ang katotohanan, lalabas later on. Okay? Just hold on kapag ganyan. No? I know, it's an arrow direct to the heart, if so to speak. No? Focus lang on your worth. Focus lang on the truth. Okay? Or ang sabi ko sa mga patients ko lagi, the objective na truth, which is
Yeah,
actually in
objective
front
truth.
of you. Okay? And eventually, time, ang cliche man, pero time will make it a little better. Okay?
So,
Pero it's a
paano pag may
different
case pag
story
valid?
yun pag valid ang concern. Okay? Kasi kung ganyan, you have to see muna what you've done, what you did to try to make it right.
Mhm.
Okay? And then you take it from there. Kasi ang hirap for me to go forward using this kasi it can branch off to a lot of topics. It will depend on the situation.
Correct, correct. Agree.
Yeah. And I think that's really one of the reasons also for a support system, not only for you to reach out to them for help, but also to be able to give you very objective feedback on how
Correct.
you can is it true na at ganito yung nararamdaman? How can I make it better? What can I
Correct.
do? Diba?
Oo.
So that person that you trust na knows that they're on your side and pero not so much on your side na they're just gonna fabricate and just tell you what you want to hear. I think that a better you don't want a support system that will just tell you what you want to hear.
Correct, correct. It's so important that the people around you are people who can call you out also for
Yes.
some crap that you do. I know we all do that. So parang I think that's also very important kasi bottom line, I really believe that we are all truly good people. We want the best. We don't want to intentionally hurt other people, right? So maybe if there's something that you're doing, you did that parang if valid, then maybe check in, but yun nga, don't put it to the extent that you beat yourself up kasi yung sinabi ni Doc Dave kanina, objective truth, medyo mahirap, but wala yung voice ko.
Okay na, mahirap nga.
Mahirap. Here, I think we
Yeah.
have the last, sorry.
Oh,
Wala.
ayan. Last question from Janelle.
Janelle,
We
yes.
can open it. Yan. Part of how can we deal with a person? I think this is very related to when we talk about support systems as well, because they always
Mhm.
want us to be at our best, diba? So
Correct,
how can we
correct.
deal with a person who keeps on encouraging and pushing us to do things? Because yes, I know that I will gain stuffs from those things, pero how instead of having courage, I feel pressure.
Okay. Well, dito papasok din ang boundaries, no? Communication. Kasi, like, this friend of yours, siguro, Janelle, na who keeps pushing you, no? Encouraging you to do things. Na, that person, sige, right down to it, is actually worried about you, cares about you. That's why ginagawa niya yan. Alright? Pero if it's too much for you, you have to tell this person. You have to let her know na, hey, I understand that you're looking out for me. No, that's why you've been pushing me. However, no, like you said, no, na be honest na lang na what I feel right now is pressure. Okay, so if you could you tone it down? I would appreciate a little bit better. And mas magkakaroon ako ng motivation siguro to follow.
Mm-mm. I like a discussion I had also today na parang related to this. It's a script that parang people who are in our support system who can be honest with us, they can be coming from this script. So the script is, I love you so much that I want to see you believe in yourself. So it hurts me to see that you don't believe in yourself. So kasi minsan, 'di ba, that tough love becomes like, as you mentioned it here, it becomes pressure, right? So I think yun nga, sometimes you have to like filter and see like what's the essence behind it, and again, on our side, like also be honest with where we stand. Maybe I know responding to that, like I know you love me, I know you want me the best thing for me, but maybe right now I'm not yet ready. Kasi
Yeah.
I'm not in the, as you shared earlier, and I'm not in the right headspace, mind space, diba?
Ang ganda. I love this conversation, and it really I said that kanina, but it really makes me feel um, comforting. It's comforting to know and understand that there's really ways that we can connect with others, get support. Um, Casey messaged here. I'm a new follower. Nice to see people like you who open an event like this where you can share about mental health issues and help them how to manage it. And oh my gosh, it makes us feel really happy to know that you're finding My Nation and BDJ as a safe space to talk about it. And for as long as we have wonderful experts like Doc Dave as our guests, you'll be assured na expert rin yung advice namin. And Dar and I try our best as well to share our insights also. So
Mhm.
very, very exciting. A lot of insights, a lot of new learnings about how to what is a support system, what does a support system feel like, how to set healthy boundaries, and really also talking about how we deal with different kinds of people and how we communicate. Yun yung parang number one na discussion natin across all. And it's all very beautiful and exciting. I learned so much, and I really am excited to learn more from you also, Doc Dave, in the future. Dar, may ano yung favorite insight mo?
Ako, related to communication is the authenticity. I think that's being honest where you are, regardless of whether you're ready, not ready, where you stand, diba? Ayun kay introvert, extrovert, ambivert, sabi, sabi sa babae. If introverts flock together, introverts pa ba sila or extrovert na
Sabi
siya?
nga ni Echo yun kanina.
Oo.
Nagjo-joke siya.
Nagjo-joke si Echo. Nagjo-joke si Echo. So, there.
Expert answer, Doc Dave. Pag introverts ba daw together, extroverts na ba sila? Yes or no?
Hindi pa rin. Ay,
Hindi
okay.
pa din.
Isipin mo lang, ganito. Picture this out, no? Kung mag-gathering ang several introverts inside a car, long journey. Sa simula, sige, usap sila. And then suddenly, after 30 minutes, an hour or so, lahat sila nagsa-cellphone, ang tahimik na.
Correct.
That's how it's going to look like. And then after an hour or two na naman later on,
Mag-uusap naman.
mag-uusap na naman ulit. Ganun yan.
Yeah.
That's why I can't stay in the car with an extrovert for a long time. Kasi parang he just wants to talk, and I'm just like, wait lang, wala na yung energy ko. Thanks, Doc.
So, yeah. So, guys, I think one of the intentions that we do this partnership with My Nation every month is so that we can connect and check in with you guys, and you guys can take this as a reminder also to check in with yourself. And syempre, we want to thank Dr. Valderrama, Dr. Dave for joining us tonight. So, would you have
Thank
any
you.
final words for our communities?
Ayun lang, no? I mean, keep cultivating your support systems. Kasi as the saying goes, no man's an island. No? So a support system is meant not only to support you, but to buffer a lot of things. Even if you have anxiety or depression or so, kaya nila i-buffer.
Yes.
Okay, ang effect on you. No? And another thing, and regarding boundaries naman, okay, know your limits. Ang turo ko lagi sa patients ko, there are 3 priorities that you need to focus on before you start pouring your attention to others. No, it's your safety or your physical health, your sanity, your mental health, and your dignity. Itong tatlong to. Okay? If any of these 3 are at risk, pull in your boundaries muna. Focus on yourself. Build your foundation. Pag built ka na and you have excess na mabibigay, that's the time you help others na.
Nice.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Doc Dave, for your time. And thanks to everyone for joining us for an engaging session. Sabi ko sa iyo pag may expert talaga on board, ang daming questions, and pag may prize din. So for those that asked a question, we'll reach out to you guys and we'll let you know if you received, if you're gonna get a prize from us, we'll ask for your details and everything so that we can send Mind Nation merch over to you. Dar, anything that you want to plug before we leave?
Watch out for the month of March. It's Women's Month, and we will be having a lot of activities lined up. So, starting from next week, we're launching our third coach for the year. So si Coach ano ba? I-announce na ba? Launching eh. So, definitely, for all the Bellas out there, and maybe, yun nga, maybe we can talk with My Nation to share also some access, coaching access that we shared with our community. So, for the month of January, nagbigay tayo ng coach from Coach Karel. So, we had like a video. It's exclusive with the Quenza app. And syempre for the month of February, Coach Kimmy, and she will have an exclusive Zoom this Saturday. And then next month, our coach is kanina at the tip of my tongue.
Reza.
Si Coach Reza. Galing, thank you. Ayan si Coach Reza. Si Coach Reza, will be our coach for the month of March. And syempre, since it's the Women's Month, we have um Women's Month Wednesdays. So we'll be live every Wednesday this month of March. And syempre, may special activity din kami with Mind Nation on the last Wednesday of March. So I hope you guys watch out for it, and we'll be announcing them soon.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks, Doc Dave.
Thank you again, guys, for having me.
Thank
Bye. Have a
you.
good evening.